400 wealthiest white people in this country have the same cumulative amount of wealth as all 41 million black people in this country combined. Let me restate so you know that I did not misstate. 400 people, the same cumulative amount of wealth as all 41 million black folks combined, right? And the wealthiest 1,000 people, the same amount, well, 1,000 white people, the same amount of cumulative wealth as all black and Latino folks in this country combined. Now, no one in their right mind is going to suggest that there are 400 white people that have worked that much harder than all black Americans and 1,000 that have worked that much harder than all black and Latino folks. And yet, if that's not the explanation, what is? Well, this inertia, this ability to rack up advantages. It's like an 8-lap race. I've got a 5-lap head start. Here's the deal. I'm supposed to cross the finish line first. That's how that happens, right? And in fact, if I start out with a 5-lap head start and at the end of the race, I'm only up by 4, I'm not the faster runner, right? So in fact, if any of those gaps shrink at all, it ought to tell you something. That is that some folks are actually working harder, running faster, metaphorically speaking, and still, because of inertia, lag behind. So we have to think of racism that way.
In the decades after the Civil War, thousands of farmers moved west into the Great Plains, taking advantage of the cheap land provided by the Homestead Act.
The Homestead Act of 1862 promised free land to settlers, but not everyone was eligible. Until the U.S. abolished slavery in 1865 and the 14th Amendment in 1868, enslaved and free black people were excluded from the act. The Freedmen's Bureau was established by President Abraham Lincoln in 1865 to assist freed slaves, but the land that was meant to be distributed to them was ultimately returned to the Confederate planters who previously owned it.
The way the Homestead Act worked, you would go out to the land office in whatever region that you were planning to settle in, and you would pick your plot of land and you would build your house and you would begin to do the things that you needed to do to meet the criteria set up by the federal government.
By 1900, claims for over 80 million acres had been filed, creating more than 372,000 farms.
There were many people who benefited incredibly, who would never have had the access to land if it hadn't been for the Homestead Act.
Edison was known for stealing people's inventions. He was known for taking the inventions of a few African-American inventors. Lewis Latimer, Granville T. Woods actually went to court with Thomas Edison, and Granville T. Woods actually won his case.
Thomas Edison tried to bring Granville T. Woods to court on that invention. And I just saw a commercial for Mazda, I believe, cars, where they said, here's a man holding 1,000 patents. Well, 90% of them he stole.
No one will tell you about forgotten black inventors who have shaped our world. Garrett Morgan, born a slave,